So what we're gonna put on the top of our page in our cuaderno is los cognados. What does los cognados mean? Any ideas? Cognates. Los cognados. Cognates. And as I said yesterday, cognates is a word, it's an English word that most people don't know, and it means that two words look or sound alike in two different languages. And we're talking about English and Spanish. So these are Spanish cognates, los cognados. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna list the different rules for you guys, and we underline these as we were talking yesterday, remember? So first rule that we're gonna write down is that anything that ends in T-I-O-N in English converts to C-I-O with an accent in Spanish. Okay, so rule number one, T-I-O-N, and when I put a dash like that, that just means ends in, okay? Converts to C-I-O with an accent in. So shun is going to be sion. And so an example of that, generación means what? Generation. Okay. And anyone able to think or see one on your paper that's a different one that's a C-I-O-N?
International.
Okay, international. And what happens though when you have internacional?
There is no accent.
No accent. So you want to remember when you add the AL on the end, that means the accent goes away. Okay? Did we have any others that you guys could think of that were good examples of that?
I don't think so.
That's fine. We can go on. Okay. The next one that I want to point out is whenever you have something that ends in TY in English, it's going to end in DAD in Spanish. All right. Reality would be realidad. Realidad. That would be one example. Okay. Realidad. Activity was another example, would be actividad. Realidad, actividad. So that's kind of nice whenever you see a word like that, you're like, oh, okay, that's activity. Oh, that's reality. It's kind of easy for you. Okay, next one that we're going to talk about is how typically words that end in Y, like family, well, we'll give you examples here in a minute. Typically, words that end in Y are going to end in either IA or IO in Spanish. IA or IO. Some examples, we have familia, family, familia. We also have conservatorio, conservatory, okay? I think we had maybe one other one just recently on our list. What was that one? Oh, I'm not finding it. No big deal. Okay. Oh, geografía. Geografía, geography. Okay, well, let me put that one down. Geografía.
And laboratory.
Oh, laboratorio. Okay. Good. So you see the IA, the IO, that's basically taking the place of Y. Okay.
So that was that one. But there's
Geography.
geography.
So instead of having that IA on the end, you would just drop it and it would be a Y. Okay, the next rule, cognate rule, I want to point out is anything that ends in IST in English is going to end in ISTA in Spanish. Some examples are artist would be artista. Artista. Dentist would be dentista. You see how that works?
Yeah.
So that's one of your cognate rules, is just if it ends in an IST, you just put an A on the end. Artista, dentista. You looking for others, Jasmine?
Yeah.
You're like, I think there's more.
There's
There probably are.
like a fantastic.
Okay, fantastico that's a different one.
Okay.
So that doesn't follow the same rule.
Yeah.
Okay, but I like how you're thinking.
Yeah. At first I was like, would it just change like if there was an O at the end, and then I was like. no,
Right,
it's
okay,
not.
so let's talk about that for a minute, because typically in Spanish, words that end in an A are talking about females, and words that end in an O are talking about males. However, with an artist, you can be a male artista. You can be a male dentista. You don't change it to dentisto. Does that make sense? So it's always dentista, artista, that stays the same. Okay, next rule, or next little tidbit to remind you guys of, typically when you have a PH in English, it's going to convert to an F. Okay? PH is going to turn to an F. You know what? Actually, I should not have put
Yeah,
the
that's what I was
dash,
thinking
because it's
about.
not in the end, it's in the middle usually. So sorry about that.
Can
All
it
the
be-
rest are at the end, but that's not.
Can
Okay?
it be at the beginning?
Yeah, it could definitely be at the beginning. Like photo,
Yeah.
like English is photo, and in Spanish it's photo also, but it's with an F instead. So I'll write that down as one of our examples. Photo. Okay? And then teléfono would be another one. Teléfono. All right? All right, any preguntas on any of those so far? All right, the other one that I did want to point out, I'm trying to think. Yeah, okay, the other one I wanted to point out, a lot of times the V in Spanish is a B in English. So you've got the same concept for the sixth rule, so to speak. But in English, it's a B. In Spanish, it's a V. Now the funny thing is, though, is that B sounds, or the V sounds like a B.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say.
Yeah.
Like, is that why?
Like viernes. Exactly. Okay? So that's a lot of times an easy cognate rule, because it's like, oh, like automobile, that's a English word, automobile, but it's a Spanish word, automobile, but it's a V instead of a B. All right, so let's write that one down. Automobile. Okay, so that's one that it's actually kind of easy. You look at it and you think, oh, well that's, well, and it doesn't make sense, sorry. Okay, automobile. All right, let's stop there. Those are the main cognate rules. So those are what you're going to need to know as you're looking at English words that you're thinking, you know what, I think if I just change that PH to an F, that's a Spanish word. That's kind of helpful. Or, you know what, that's an English word that ends in IST. If I just add an A on the end, it's a Spanish word. So you can do that. Or if you see a Spanish word that follows one of those rules, then you know, oh, dentista is a dentist. Teléfono is telephone. All right? These are the easy ones. It's kind of nice to know how they work, because it increases your vocabulary by quite a bit. All right? Okay, any preguntas over any of these? Nope.